The longer the caption is, the more odds of it going viral.
This is the sauce, man. This is the shit I want to know. People want to live a quiet life desperation instead of taking the risk and having the uncertainty. They want to have the certainty of desperation versus the uncertainty of quite literally greatness.
The money doesn't really make me happy. It's the art of like winning the money. Me making the money the way I make it is what makes me happy. They understand that they have to put in the work, but they just need a reason to not stop.
Before we start this podcast, I have one small favor to ask you. If you've been enjoying our US tour and all the extra effort we go into making these episodes, please hit the subscribe button down below so we can help more people every single week. Thank you.
The longer the caption is, the more odds of it going viral.
This is the sauce, man. This is the shit I want to know. This is the stuff now that you have not been talking about.
Yeah, I don't really talk about it.
But this is the stuff that people want to know, right?
I mean, out of the, let's say the 150,000 people that see my stories every single day, probably not even 1% care about it. Because the rest are just normal people that they just want to have a job and they just want to learn how to trade and stuff. So like the majority of it is just normal people. Like there's very small content creators that follow me. Or that's what I think. I could be totally fucking wrong.
People want to replicate success though. Success leaves clues, trading, there's a ton of stuff.
True, yeah.
All right. Let's get into it. Where I want to start is you have a ton of different businesses. Do you think you're going to be at $1 billion in revenue by the time you're 30?
That would be 6 more years. I think if the economy gets better, and I think if there's not so much uncertainty around the world and how I think that there is right now, it's just because of elections and all stuff like that. I think I could be very close to that. I think about $500 million for sure. The other half, because like I only know one billionaire. His name is Joseph, and he was the founder of BoxyCharm. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like one of these famous like makeup boxes, and inside of it there was a bunch of everything. And he told me as he was building this $1 billion company, somebody was going to buy his company for $250 million, and they were like, you know what, we'd rather pay you $500 million, but once you get there, because the company that you have to become going from $250 million to $500 million is a completely different infrastructure, different offer, different service, and the company that you go from $500 million to $1 billion is a completely different business. So I have his knowledge up to like the $500 million part. We'll see if we can get to the $1 billion part.
It all goes back to the game that you're playing though, right? You're just playing this infinite game. Have you ever heard a story of when Yahoo tried to buy Facebook?
No.
So they walk in to acquire Facebook and everyone thinks that Mark Zuckerberg is going to take the deal. And they sit down and Peter Thiel is there. And Zuckerberg walks in and he says, okay, this is going to be a quick meeting, be 10 minutes. We're not going to take the deal. And Peter Thiel said, why not? This is $250 million. Like you could basically retire in your mid-20s or early 30s and you'd be out of the game. And he said, well, I already like what I'm doing. And if I sell, I don't know what I would do with the money. And I'd also just want to build another social platform anyway. So that's it. I'm not going to take it. And then he just kept playing that infinite game as a result. And that's kind of what I see you doing a lot is just like, you have fun. You have fun. We're chilling in your house.
Yeah.
And it's much more playing the game than the actual outcome, which is the whole thesis around trading too, right?
I mean, yeah, I love what I do. I wouldn't trade what I do for anything. There's no amount of money that I would need right now to make me happy. Like the money doesn't really make me happy. It's the art of like winning the money. So like me making the money the way I make it is what makes me happy, not the amount of money that I make. Like at least to my knowledge right now, obviously I'm not a billionaire or anything near like that right now, but there's not a significant amount of money right now that will change anything of my life. Like you can't give me $20 million right now in cash that will significantly change my life. And if it does, yeah, I'll be happy, but just temporarily. I'm not saying that I'm not happy, but it just won't make me happier.
Just buy like a green Bugatti.
oh yeah, like yeah. Instead of me doing donuts in one Bugatti, I do it in 5.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. But like that's not going to bring you more fulfillment. It's just going to be like this is just hilarious.
Exactly. Correct. Yeah. I'm able to have more fun at a bigger scale.
So how do you frame the game as you're staying up to like 2 o'clock in the morning and sleeping 2 hours a night?
Yeah, so it's funny, right? Because like right now, I think I'm running on, I don't know, like 2-3 hours of sleep. Yesterday was probably like 4, and then like a 2-hour nap. I just say that I'm young and I'm able to do stuff like this. And for me, when I look back at what I did a month ago, which was kind of the same thing, I kind of forgot that I was tired then. So when I'm tired right now, I'm like, you know what? A month from now, this is probably not even going to matter. Like when you look at the story, if you were to be looking at my life as a movie, all these dark and, you know, lonely times or hard times, they're just like a blur. They don't really come out in the movie. They just get passed by quick. They The movie just goes straight to the highlight. So I just focus on the highlight. I don't focus on these sucky moments when I'm tired.
What do you think people do?
What do you mean? Like when they're...
People complain, they give out, they blame everything but them, they sleep in, they watch porn. Like, why do you think people look to external things when you're just like, fuck it, let's go?
So I love winning, whether it's winning anything. Like I'll race against anybody just to think that I can win. Like I'll play basketball against a professional athlete, just the art of me challenging myself to win. So I just like being a winner. I just like competing for something, and I like figuring out ways how to succeed in it, whether it's trading, whether it's business, whether it's sports. I just want to succeed. And that's what keeps me going. I don't want to be a loser. I think second place is the first loser. Nobody remembers second place. You only look at first. So I do anything that I possibly can to always be the winner. So that keeps me going. And a lot of people out there, they don't have that winning mindset.
Why do you think they don't?
Because maybe they're just comfortable. Like I can give you a perfect example. My own cousins, right? My siblings, like they have me one phone call away. We grew up together, and I've tried to put them on to what I do. I've tried to make them like managers of my businesses.
Yeah.
I've tried to make them like COOs of my businesses. And like, look, I'm going to start you off paying you $120,000 a year. That's more than what you're making right now, your current job. I just need somebody loyal for the position. And they don't take it. They don't want the pressure. They don't want to fuck up, and they don't want to have that uncertainty that if they fuck up with me, then I have to, fire them or whatever. So they just don't have what it takes. They don't want to. They rather make $50,000 a year at a corporate job that they studied for than taking the risk and making, let's say, 110, 120.
Yeah, people want to live a quiet life of desperation instead of taking the risk and having the uncertainty. They want to have the certainty of desperation versus the uncertainty of quite literally greatness. Right?
Exactly. And yeah, I think like, for example, like the viewers that are watching this video, I don't think they're those people. I think those people don't even go onto YouTube and look at podcasts on how to be successful. Like the people that watch these videos are people that are just trying to figure out what can they do to change their life to get to that point. Like they understand that they have to put in the work, but they just need a reason to not stop. And they need that little bit of like, you know what, I did this when I was down, and then everything just changes for them. They just need something, because right now, my cousins, my siblings, they don't even know what YouTube is. Like they don't care, because they just simply got their degrees. They are going to their 9-to-5 job. When they're done, they either go to a bar, they go home, watch Netflix. They just live their life. They don't have aspirations of getting bigger. I think people that go online are constantly looking for new information are the people that actually want to grow in life.
And I think that's when people who grew up with very little have smashed it as a result. Maybe like yourself, people like Luke Alexander, who's based here, Iman, a lot of these guys who grew up with very little are super, super hungry, because it's almost I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared it's going to happen, And it's quite similar to me now. Like I didn't grow up in the fucking homeless, but at the same time, I didn't have a lot. And then therefore, like I have that element of scarcity to some degree to be like, I want to keep pushing. Because if I don't, I know what that felt like. It's also the concept of anti-goals, if you're familiar with it. It's like on the pursuit of greatness, you don't want all of this other stuff to be taken down from.
Correct.
Looking at your trading coaching offer, and you're actually trading university, right? What do you think some of the traits are of guys that crush it compared to the guys who pay the money and just fail? There's some guys that just don't do nothing, right?
Yes, it's actually something that I've been like learning as I go, because I need data from people to be able to kind of determine like, okay, why is this guy getting the same information and he's making $10,000 a month and then this guy's not? So it took me about a year to actually figure this out. So I've had my academy for about 2.5 years now. And the person that makes $10,000 a month versus the person that doesn't make $10,000 a month with the same piece of information, the only difference is that the guy that makes the money shows up every day. The guy that doesn't show up every single day. That is literally it. Showing up every single day is actually harder than learning the information. Learning the information is actually very easy. You can learn the alphabet and you can learn how to speak whatever language. But then going out there and going to a different country and putting that language to practice every single day is the difficult part. That's where you actually get better and you get more comfortable speaking the language. It's the exact same thing in trading. Like I can teach you the charts, I can teach you how to read it, but if you don't show up every single day and put it to practice, you're just simply not going to be comfortable with reading it, and you're not going to have the results of it. That is literally the only difference between somebody that learns my strategy versus somebody that just watches my strategy and doesn't learn and apply it. Trust me, I tried to find a different way. I'm like, you know what? It might be an age restraint. It might be availability of time restraint. You know, some people have jobs, some people have kids. But at the end of the day, you make time for whatever you want.
Of course, dude.
So the people that really want it, they're gonna make time. If you have kids, put them to sleep. Fuck that. You know, like they're just give them to your other half. And be like, yo, I gotta grind. I gotta do this.
And dude, like that element of how you allocate your time is hilarious, right? Because people will make any excuses, but they'll still sit down, scroll Instagram, or even eat like shitty food. Like, you know, I'll tell you, I've been living in Bali for many years, and I have like all my meal preps done and all this kind of stuff. When we got here, I was like, fuck eating Uber Eats. I'm just gonna cook again because I know cooking is the best for my physique and my health and everything. I cooked and I was like, this is way easier than ordering Uber Eats.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like if you make allocation for something, like that was perfect and it fit me. 20 minutes done for the day. I thought it was an interesting observation because what people say to themselves is very interesting. The dialogues, the monologues they run internally, and then that shapes who's a scam. That shapes their worldview. That shapes the outcome. Whereas like you've been kind of working internally on that. I've had a lot of retrospective look because of all these conversations to know that I'm the fucking problem.
Yeah. I am 100% I'm 100% responsible for whatever outcome I have, whether I succeed or I don't succeed. There's no external item or energy or whatever that affects my success, that affects the results of what I did. Whether it's something on the short term or the long term, I'm 100% responsible for it on anything. And I try and put that message out there to a lot of people. And a lot of people, they just have to hear that. Like they understand the words that are coming out of my mouth because I'm speaking the same language. But some people just don't really understand it. Like they don't accept it. Over the course of time, some people do end up getting it, and then they just, you know, their whole mindset shifts. But a lot of people, they just hear it, but they don't deeply actually understand it.
Okay, so how can you action it? Turn it into action. Someone's listening to this, fat, lazy, broke. What can you do in that instance? Like, where do you internalize that?
So why are you fat right now?
Because they're lazy.
Well, why are you lazy?
Because they're unfulfilled.
What is going to fulfill you?
Finding something that they can play an infinite game with.
Well, what's the game that you want to play?
That's what they need to explore.
And then there you got to just keep going until you find that one thing. And when you find it, you might not like it right at first. You go into something else. And whether you just think you like it a little bit, try it. When things get hard, don't stop. When things get good, keep going. And over the course of 6 to 8 months, you're going to really define if that's what you want to be or who you want to be for the rest of your life. Some people, they stop as soon as things start getting bad and they don't give it a chance for things start getting good. I guarantee you, if I stopped when things were bad in trading, I would not have a Bugatti right now. Like I would not be in the position that I am. Now, did it suck at the beginning? Yeah. But you know what? I genuinely liked the person that I was becoming as I did it. If you see that this game that you're going to get into is challenging you to become smarter, to become sharper, to become better, you should probably stay there a little bit longer because that might be what's going to get you better. You're not going to get better by not changing. The person that I am today is not the same person that I was last year, or the person that I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or when I started trading. I developed as a person in my mindset, in my routines, in my risk. Everything changed as time went on because I was forced to become a new person. So if you're entering this new game or this new challenge, you're simply getting better. Yeah, is it hard? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, no shit. That's the whole point. You have to become a new person to get to that level. And if you're doing something that you think that you love and you want to do, but it's not challenging you, are you really getting any better? Probably not.
The first person who said that to me was Jack Hopkins. I remember him mentioning that he was a different person every quarter. Every 3 months, he was just this new person. And I was kind of on his come up, and I would met him like many months later, and he was just a different individual. And then I started seeing those behaviors reflect in myself, that constantly iterating, constantly improving, that you don't want to relive the same 6 months. And I think that's the biggest pain point, is that if someone says, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to take trading myself. I'm going to learn this business on my own. And 6 months later, they're in the exact same position. Yeah. You keep reliving the same moments. And that's where we go back to where your start point is. Because if you are come from a very disadvantaged background, you feel the pain more than someone who's in their mom's bedroom and kind of comforted by that. I'm curious to know how you evaluate the difficulty of different businesses. Now, the fact you've done every single business model, but you've done exceptionally well in all of them.
Yeah, I would say I've been very fortunate with the people that I've gone into business with.
Mm.
I've been very selective. I take my time. I'm in no rush. I don't need the money. Like I do well from trading. I have money saved up. A lot of people, when they go into businesses, they feel like they're in a race that they need the money right now. And they just pick the closest person to them to then put in that position, be like, you know what, you do this, and then I'll figure this out. That's how, yeah, you could get started fast, which is good, which is what a lot of people don't do. But you just burn out, and then you have a quick start, and then the business go down. For me, I do it the other way around. I first get the idea that I want, and then based off of that idea, I have to find people that connect and understand that idea, and that they have the same passion for the project. It's like, well, are you ready to work on this for 6 months without making a dollar? They say no. Well, you're not the guy. You don't have passion for the project like I do. Like I have 2 businesses right now that I've been starting that I've been operating for 8 months. I haven't made a dollar on. Like I'm net negative on my time and on money on it. But why? I'm passionate about the project. And this is because I see the long-term vision of it. And the guys that are on that team see the exact same thing. And that's what I guess has led me to be successful in multiple businesses, because like I don't want to rush this. Like I see a business as like a plant. Like, the same day you plant the seed is not the same day that you actually see the fruit come out of it. You have to water it. You have to change the soil. You have to water it, put it in the sun. You have to apply the same thing. And, probably in a month, you probably see a little stem. 2 months, a leaf comes out. And in a year, you have a tree with fruits that is never ending. Business is the same exact thing. The beginning sucks, but then over the course of time, it'll be worth it.
It's an interesting observation, because if you take the flip side of that, like SMA, for instance, you get in quickly, you try to get your first client, and as a result of that, you can't scale it. You're stuck in fulfillment hell.
Yeah.
You didn't think 4 steps down the path, or even like 2 steps down the path. So it's almost like the faster the payoff you trying to seek, the longer the pain is going to be.
Yeah.
Whereas the flip side is like software, for instance, right? Takes you a shit ton of time building sports betting platform.
Yeah.
And then when you build it, you got to get customers, you got to validate it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, like I'll be transparent. Like we've been running fan funded for about to be a year. I haven't made a dollar off of fan funded. Like everything, all the money that we make just get put right back into the business. Every single profit that we have in the month goes back into creating a more updated version of the tech, creating, new widgets, new app updates, just everything just goes right back into it. Now, does it suck that I have to get on a 3-hour Zoom call every other day and talk to the team? Yeah, dude, it sucks. But you know what? I love the project. I love the idea. I love the concept. And I think in a year or two, it'll definitely pay off.
What do you think is the easiest way to make $100,000?
The easiest way to make $100,000 in any business or anything?
Yeah, like you're flat broke, you're in Albuquerque, your pants is down your ankles, go.
Get a job. First things first. You need a job. You need to have some type of money coming in. You're not going to make $100,000 without money. You need money to make money. Simple truth. Second thing is, I would recommend people to go straight into trading. I'm a trader myself, and I got my success because of trading. I built my character because of trading. I built my mindset. I built my resources and my funds because of trading. If I did not make the money I make from trading, I wouldn't be able to put it into Fan Funded, into Rocket, into tech, into the cigars. Trading got me the money to put into these different businesses. So you got to get some type of money to put into trading so it can make you more money. So as soon as you got a job, you got some money, directly go into the charts. Put in your 10,000 hours. Now, does it suck? Yes. You're going to be there for 10,000 hours. The chair is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to throw it away, get a different one. Your keypad is going to burn out from you moving the mouse. You get another one. You have to put in the time. Once you put in those 10,000 hours, the way you looked at the charts on 1,000 hour and then on 2,000 hour, it's going to be completely different. And then on 2,000 to 3,000 different, all the way up to 10,000, you're going to realize that the person that you are now, you can actually put some money behind the market and you'll have some type of an edge versus somebody else. Because the market's going to do 2 things at the end of the day. It's going to go up or go down. It's not fucking rocket science. You got to just figure out why does it have more odds of going up or down, and just risk a logical amount of money that you're okay with risking with a positive risk to reward. You'll have $100,000 within the year. No doubt in my mind.
Did you find that it was more to do with psychology than it was to do with any technicals? Just like in business, how a funnel is a fucking funnel, but at the end of the day, it's about persuasion, sales, positioning, authority.
And the product too. Like you could have the best funnel in the world. Literally, you could have the best funnel with the best opt-in, but everything is great. Price point could be great. But if you're selling people on how to cut grass, you're not going to sell anything. No one gives a shit on how to cut grass. Like it's like the product doesn't make any sense. But if you're going to teach people on how to, let's say, scale their ads for marketing, well, now you have a niche. Now you have an actual proven concept that people want to learn and scale. But if you're teaching people how to cut grass, people that want to learn how to cut grass probably aren't even on the internet. You got to go to your local landscaping or whatever. Like you have to know where's your product and where's your niche. So it's just the same thing in trading. Just apply the same thing there.
So basically you're finding your unique differentiator, your edge, your unique mechanism. How long did that take you to develop?
2.5 years. But I'll never forget. My first year, it was just learning it. I had money, but I was just watching it all the time. But then on year 2 is where I started actually putting money into it. And I was just losing for a whole 2 years. And then on the 2.5 year is where I was just like break even for about 6 months. And then everything from one to another changed. But it was 2.5 years of just consecutive losses.
How come you didn't leave?
I had to show, so I have like a Cuban dad, right? So he's like very strict, very straightforward. I had to show this guy that I was gonna do something out of this thing that I put in so much time. Like when I was already a year in, I had dropped out of college. There's no way that I'm going to stop doing this and go to a different craft. This guy would disown me. I just can't do it. So the main reason why I kept going is because my dad didn't believe in me. And I knew that there was other people out there making money from this. So could I. So I would say it was a combination of me having to prove to my dad, like, yo, I'm actually making money from this. And that if other people are doing it, so can I. So it's not like I'm trying to figure something out new. Somebody's already paved the way. I just got to figure out how to follow the trail.
Did you meet people in real life that had gone and done it?
Yeah, I did.
That's always the biggest wake-up call.
The moment when I started meeting other traders is where I'm like, this is just going to happen very soon for me. And I was very strategic about it. I would know where these other traders were. I would pull up to these places and just sit down and listen. I'm a very good listener. I'll just sit down and just hear to what these people would say. And where everything, I'll never forget, right? Because one day I got a text message from Grant Cardone. It was one of these marketing text messages. And he said, hey, I want you to come to my private event today. It's 25 spots. Reply yes and come. And I'm like, this is a scam, dude. One of these scam text messages. And I was with one of my very, very close high school friends. And he's like, dude, reply yes, dude. It's just 25 spots. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. This is sale. Like they're just selling us on the product. So bro, reply yes. I'm like, okay, fine. I replied yes. They sent me the address and the invitation. It was set for the next day or 2 days after. Next day, 2 days after, we go to Grant Cardone's headquarters in West Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale, wherever it is. When we pull up, it's actually 25 people. It was actually like a hand-selected random text message that got sent out.
How much was it?
It was free.
What?
Yeah, it was free. I was the weirdest thing ever, right? I was so confused.
What was his backsell, upsell offer?
That's where it comes out after, right? So he was like, just come to today's class. We're going to teach you how to make money, how to save money, and how to grow. I'm like, all right, I'm on.
I got none of those.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm all for it. So we go to the event, and I had never met anybody hyper successful like that in person. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm about to meet Grant Cardone. This guy has to have a third eye. He has to have a third leg. He has to have some superpower chain. Like I was superstitious, right? I'm like, this guy has to have something that got him to this point. Grant Cardone walks in. He's shorter than me. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is going on? There's nothing special about this guy. He's talking, comes up to me, shakes my hand, gives me a hug, and he just keeps going about his speech, selling us on whatever he's going to sell. And that was the moment where it changed for me because he was wearing the same cologne that I wear. And I'm like, the only difference in between this guy and me is that he showed up every single day for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. All this guy has ahead of me is time. All I have ahead of him is more time than him. And that just would literally lit a fire on me and changed my life completely. I'll never forget that.
That's so powerful, man.
Yeah.
Because someone would look at that glass half empty and think, this guy's so far ahead, I can never get to that point. Whereas you think, I have 30 years ahead. I have 30 years ahead at this, going at it all on.
He would give up everything that he has to be in the position that I am today.
And the way that you phrase it is actually the exact same way that I frame it, that people that I interview are not biologically different than me, right? We're
Mhm.
just the same like people, but they've taken more action than me.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's
of
the
course.
same analogy, right? They've taken more risk, they've had more exposure, they've had more reps. Yeah, they're smarter, whatever, but like often the guys that run $100 million companies were D students or dropped
Yeah.
out of school,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like our barometers of what we think is intellect is interesting. Another observation there is their ability to um, bundle resources like employees.
Oh, dude, like I've hired people that are way smarter than I am, but their lack of execution keeps them where they are. They're just scared. They don't have
Mm,
initiative. They don't have that instinct right away. Like literally, I'll have like two guys on my team that they'll create like a whole master marketing plan and where they're gonna sell it. I'll look at and they'll present it for like 25 minutes, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, "This is trash." Literally, you do this, and it makes more sense. And they're like, "Fuck yeah!" And it's like, "Yeah, dude,
mm,
because you're just being so over analytical. You're
mm,
looking at it like if you're gonna sell this to a quant, you're gonna like you're not selling this to a genius. 90% of the people out there, their attention span is very short. You don't have to go that deep into selling a product. All you have to do is explain the value that a product has, why the person needs it, and how you're going to help them get it. That's it. It doesn't go any further than that. And there's really smart people out there that they just don't understand that. And that even if they do, they lack the execution part of it.
Where did you learn to build offers?
By myself, dude. Because like I know what I want to hear when people sell me something, and I know what I'm looking for. So I
Mm.
just reverse and engineered it. Why would I want to recomplicate it? Like you want to learn how to trade? Dude, I'm gonna teach you how to trade. I'm not gonna teach you how to use a Fibonacci or an EMA or this. No, dude, like I'm gonna teach you what you need to be successful, and that's it. This is just trading. When you get inside is where we go into the details and so on. But
Mm.
everything that I've learned is simply by myself. Now, I have some really, really smart guys in my team that help me explain that message a lot better. Like without them, obviously it would be a high school version of that message. These guys, the storytelling, they help me a lot with that. They help me a lot with like the organization of it. But the actual message itself, it comes from me because people follow me for me. Nobody else can explain the message like me for my
Mhm.
people, if that makes any sense.
What is it about you that attracts people to you in that way?
I feel like I feel like everybody can somewhat resonate or connect to me because I am their dream version of a young version of themselves. A young guy that gets money and just does whatever the fuck he wants. Every young guy that was growing up or any young guy that is growing up right now wants to do that or wanted to do that.
Mm.
So I just do that to the fullest.
Mm.
Like, dude, I don't give a shit, bro. I'll get a Porsche, go right now, start doing donuts, light it on fire, go tomorrow, buy another one. Like it's just every I think every man out there has a little bit of degeneracy in them.
Of
Like,
course.
and
Every man, absolutely everybody.
I think everybody does. But some people are just scared of having fun with it. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, like for me, the whole point of money and all this shit is to have fun. So I'm
Mm.
gonna have fun.
When did you have that turning point of like, okay, now I can like have fun with the money? Because becoming money poor is really, really common, right?
Yeah, and I was that guy for a while. I can't even lie. Everything changed for me about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, where I wanted to hit a financial goal, like net profit in the bank account. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do anything fun until I don't get to that point. It's just grind until I get to that point. And I thought that was so far-fetched. I had that goal for myself for when I was like 25.
Mm.
And I hit it about 2 years ago. And when I hit it, I'm like, whoa, that's it? Like, is that really it? Like, did I really just get here that fast? I almost felt like shit because I'm like, wow, I got to this point. I didn't enjoy anything. I didn't, do something as simple as go to a family dinner or go to New Year's or go to Thanksgiving. I didn't do any of that stuff for like 3 years. And when I got to that point, I'm like, okay, you know what? Because you hit this goal so fast, you realize that you can do anything that you put your mind to. As you're reaching that next goal, have fun, because you realize that just grinding to get to that goal is not fun. It's boring. And when you get to that goal, it's not fun either. nothing changes. I thought me having a certain amount of money in the bank was going to change my life completely. I thought I was going to get taller, going to get stronger. That shit doesn't change.
Me and you both got hit with the height bug.
It's all right, bro. Short kings for the win, bro. Short kings for the win.
Oh man, we got to find another way around.
But I realized that hitting the goal isn't the goal. It's the journey to hitting the goal. What is the goal? The fun that you do getting there is the whole purpose of it. The journey is the best part. So that's where shit completely changed for me. Like right now I'm turning, the $100 into the mill, and it fucking sucks. Like I told you, like me not sleeping right now and all that. But you know what? Like it's fun. Like I'm enjoying it because I know in a month from now when I achieve it, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna be like, you know what? I don't regret not doing anything in the middle of the journey. I did not stop doing something because of the challenge. So I'm living by that now and forever.
I love that, man. And it goes back to just the process versus the outcome with trading, with the business, not sacrificing long-term goals for short-term happiness. Yeah. And even we got the taxi over today. I was a little bit nervous, gotta say. We're driving over to the house, driving over to the mansion. And I was like, I just want to enjoy it because I'll be back on a flight, back to my home, and I'll be looking back at this and it's like, these are the great moments. Yeah. Do you get me? Like, this is the moment, right? Whereas like, we look back at it in 20 years' time and think, oh, fuck, those were the good days. Now, the way that we want to live is that those are also going to be the good days, though. Does that make sense?
Of course. Right.
Because, like, there's a thing in your 20s that, like, people, it's a saying that most men die when they turn 25. And then it's just a gradual decline. I've thought about that quite a lot, which is why I've picked up, taken more risk, done more things, because that's the beauty of it. Right?
Of course. If you don't take risks, somebody else will. And you're going to be watching somebody else taking that risk and having fun, and you could be doing it yourself.
Tell me about that sacrifice, though, because like most people don't really see it or hear it or even believe it, dude.
I mean, bro, I wake up every single day and I want to risk something. I want to put something at risk because it's the adrenaline. It's the fun. And I don't know. I just genuinely enjoy it because when you put something at risk, there's something that you're going to potentially gain, right? When you put something at risk, you're going to obviously lose something. But that art of gaining something, that winning is what does it for me. I just want to fucking win, dude. I literally just want to get up, win. Now, if I lost 2 times, fuck it. I don't care. But I won once. That's all that matters to me. In my eyes, if I could lose 2 and I win 1, I'm the winner for the day. So I just want to win, and I'll put anything up at risk, bro.
9 losing trades for 1 winning trade.
But we won. We're a winner.
Oh, man. So when you were like making those sacrifices when you were younger and just basically kind of in that grind phase, did you kind of find when you were going up to that goal that you weren't going to hit the goal? Like, did you feel like that those were your best days?
I definitely had a point where I just didn't know how much longer it was going to take. So I knew that I was progressing because the way I was analyzing the markets, like I was actually predicting this, right? I was being able to, okay, you know what? I want price to go from this point to this point. Now, it didn't happen exactly how I wanted it to, but it happened. And I realized that, you know what? 3 months ago, I wasn't even been able to understand what the market was doing to even predict something. And like over the course of a couple of months, I just started being like, you know what? This is going to go here and then here. And so every single time it just started getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And that's where I kind of just like doubled down on the money side of it, which is like the risk management part, and everything changed for me. But like it just gave me a lot of uncertainty, not knowing when it was going to be the day that I'm successful, because nobody's going to come to you and be like, okay, you know what? Boom, here's a stamp. Now you're successful today from this point forward. Like, that's not how this shit works. It's not like you graduate high school and they tell you, okay, here's your diploma. Congratulations for your work. Now you go on to the next step. That's not how it goes in the trading world. You're kind of just alone by yourself in your office, and you kind of have to give yourself that diploma. You have to give yourself that trophy and be like, you know what? You're successful from now forward. And I'll never forget, I made money. I made $28,000 on my first profitable month. The month after that, I lost money. I was not profitable. So when I made those $28,000, I gave myself that diploma. I gave myself the stamp. Okay, now you're a profitable trader. Congratulations. Yay. But then when the next month, when you lose the money, you're like, wait, am I really a profitable trader? Am I not really a profitable trader? What did I fuck up on? Am I even doing this correct? Was it lucky? all that is what confused me, and it kind of caused a little bit of trauma in me because I just didn't want to not be a profitable trader. And there's just no way of knowing if you are or if you're not. So
Why is that?
because how do you just know? Like even right now, like for me, I've had 2 losing weeks in a row right now. Now, if I were to be Alex of 2019, I would label myself as not a profitable trader. But me, that Alex that I am now, I can lose for 6 months in a row. I'm still a profitable trader. Just because I'm losing for 6 months doesn't mean that I'm an unprofitable trader. Just means that I'm not profitable right now. But whatever I'm applying just has to either get back into sync with the market, or I have to simply modify something. But I am a profitable trader because whenever I put something at risk, whether positive risk to reward, I simply make money. Now, if I'm in a losing streak or if I'm in a winning streak, does that change? Obviously. But you have to give yourself that label. Like, you know what? Now you're profitable because you know what you're doing versus rather you're not. And it's something that it takes traders time to realize whether you actually know what you're doing or not. Some people kind of get ahead of that step, and as soon as they start, they're like, yes, I'm a profitable trader now. I don't think anybody is a real profitable trader until they have at least 1 year in the markets minimum.
Have you ever read the book Turning Pro?
Turning Pro, no. I've only read like 4 books my whole life.
I'd recommend it.
Turning
Do you watch kickoff sessions and wonder, how did he get that guest? Well, I've actually broken down every single step to get the best guest in the world, what I like to call our guest management system. This is a step-by-step tutorial with templates and scripts as to how I get the best guest in the world every single week. If you want to see guests like Luke Belmar, Justin Waller, Justin Welsh, Matt Gray, and many, many other people, follow the link down below in the description and I'll give you the exact system we've used to get over 250 guests and generate over 40 million views on kickoff sessions. So click the link down below and I'll give you the system right now.
Even for your students, more so, because the whole logic is that everyone is an amateur until they effectively turn pro, but it's not necessarily like a day you wake up and you think, I'm a fucking trader, done. It's more like embodying the attributes, characteristics, and traits of the person you want to become. So let's say you are a trader. A profitable trader wakes up at 7 a.m., not 7:05. He eats good food, he doesn't jerk off, and so on and so forth. But also at that level too, he has a good belief system with himself so that when he does have 2 losing weeks, he still thinks like, I am a trader. You embody those characteristics. So there's like a point in everyone's journey whereby they decide, will they just quit, go back to normie land, or go on and take that leap? And that's like a very, very important inflection point. So it sounds like obviously that happened for you 2.5 years in or 2 years in at that point, but it's almost a really good frame for people to think that, okay, this is something that I want to actually become and to move forward.
No, I definitely think that a lot of people don't even understand that. Like that's what you have to do, but just people don't get that. They just don't believe in that. They just think by showing up 1 or 2 times a week and just maybe applying 1 or 2 things that they saw in a video that like that's it. But they don't realize that in order for you to become that person that you want to become, you have to change to become that person. In order for things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. You're not going to change things in your life without you changing yourself. And for you to change yourself, you had to accept that you have to, again, wake up at 7 a.m. to do the routines. Some people just don't have that accountability for themselves.
One thing I definitely struggled with was that when I was putting in like those 10,000 hours, the people around me, friends and family, weren't. So they weren't developing at the same level.
Yeah.
I heard you speak about like losing friends and stuff.
Yeah, bro.
I'm in the exact same position, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think every entrepreneur, every person that's on the grind, on the come up, it just kind of has to happen. I think you have to be a little bit crazy to put in 10,000 hours without making any type of profit, and you just making mental progress and this invisible chart of your progression that you're just looking at yourself. Like you have to be a little bit crazy to
Delusional optimism.
Yeah, you have to be delusional just to keep going. Like, you know what? I'm better right now than I was a month ago. The person next to you is gonna be like, how the fuck do you know? Well, it's like, dude, I just know. Don't worry, I just know.
I'm the guy.
I got it. Well, like, show me. Well, I can't show you, you know? So they're gonna think you're fucking crazy. I think you have to be a bit delusional. Everybody has to, and that delusion just doesn't connect with normal people. And you're gonna lose people on the way up. And it's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that the people that stay are meant to stay and the people that leave are meant to leave. And I don't think anybody that doesn't want to stay, you force them to stay. You're just gonna drag yourself down and make that relationship uncomfortable when they just don't want to be a part of it.
Mm.
And I one of my closest friends, I'll never forget. I literally, I think I told him, yo, I want to go home because I gotta like trade tonight or whatever. He's like, oh, bro, like you're still doing that, bro? Like you're never gonna succeed in that. It's like, dude, like you're like one of my best friends right now. Like, what the fuck are you telling me? And from that day forward, never spoke ever again. So like it sucks, don't get me wrong, but everything happens for a reason.
Mm. And it's important to close that chapter because like I'm definitely someone who is like a people pleaser. Like I want the acceptance of others, probably just how I grew up and so on and so forth, that I wanted to make those amends. Like I wanted those things to work. Whereas you made a good point about the people that will stay will stay.
Mhm.
A lot of the guys that have stayed are, one guy is actually a trader. He's actually leaving his job in finance to become a trader full time.
Sick.
So we're on like the same pursuit, right? The second guy is actually a DJ. So he went fully all in on music production, like producing music. So very much a creative capacity. And even though we're all different, we just support each other in a weird,
You're all
asymmetric way.
delusional, some type
Exactly,
of way.
right?
You're all
But you have to,
delusional.
like, you have to think that your idea can work, right? Because like you're a fucking trader. The mean curve and the standard deviations, when you try to go 1-2 standard deviations above, it tries to pull you back. It's literally like the Earth's sphere pulling you back into existence. Where's it pulling you to? Back into the mean.
Mhm.
So everything we're doing is almost like a reflection of that to try put you back into a box,
Mhm.
which is how we're here today, is because we keep pushing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's an interesting observation. And we can push at different levels, right? Of course. But it's that's the push and pull of the universe.
I definitely think there's different levels, and
Mm.
each level gets harder in my opinion, because let's say right now you're starting a business, right? Let's say SMMA, right? Level 0 to $10,000 a month. I don't think it's that hard. Why? Because the people in that space aren't really ultra competitive. They're just probably just getting started, seeing if it's for them. They're on the learning curve. It's level 1. The people that go from 10K a month to 50K a month, now they're like, okay, you know what? I actually like this. I want to scale it. They're learning how to hire more people. They're bettering their offer. You're putting a bit more time. You're hiring more people. But then when you go from 50K to 100K, now you're dealing with a different type of shark. Now you're dealing with somebody that's been in the game for a while, that they've probably been doing it for 2-3 years, and they plan to scale this for the next 5. So each level, I think, gets harder, and each box gets either bigger or tighter, depends how you look at it. Because I personally try to put myself into rooms where I'm the smallest fish every single time. And to me, I see that as a big room because there's potential to grow. Some people get into a big room like that and they see themselves small and they see the room small and they rather go back to the previous level. So it's all a mindset game and where you want to be and what level you want to be at.
And it's a unique mechanism that we can bring. Like I can't bring you cash and you'd be like, oh, that's really helpful. But I can bring energy into the conversation.
Mhm.
You know, I can bring some element of character. Even the people that I'm meeting here for next week, they could be making 100 times more than me or 10 times more than me. But you're not judged on that metric. You're judged on your character.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been able to, like, what is it that you bring into those rooms that are bigger than you? Like, how do you put together a plan like that?
Yeah, I would say I've mastered how to get into these bigger rooms or with bigger people. And it just comes down to providing value. Every single person out there right now, every successful person, your Jeff Bezos, your Mark Cuban, your Mark Zuckerbergs, your Grant Cardones, they all have some type of default. They have some type of error that you're doing. They always have some type of improvement that they can do. Everybody always has room for improvement. So what I do is I casually attack that default. I casually attack that error that they're doing. And I just pull up and be like, you know what, look, just letting you know, I'm rich. Like, I don't want anything from you. I'm not here needing anything from you. I don't want nothing from you. Just letting you know you're doing this wrong, by the way. And I think you can make it better like this. That's it. My name's Alex, by the way. It's what I do. And if, you want some help or you want somebody that can help you out, I can probably let you know. But this is what you're doing wrong. And if you were to fix it, you can then turn it into this and this and this. Anybody that goes up to you and tells you that in a super genuine way, it's just a stopper, right? Right off the bat. They're like, holy shit. What do you mean? Yeah, come here, explain me. Tell me a little bit more. So I've gone up to like Dana White. Like Dana White was gambling for, I think it was like 8 hours, like nonstop. I was there with him. And I realized that this guy hadn't eaten for like fucking 8 hours. I saw that as a weak point. And I'm like, yo, Dana, like, I'm going to tell the guys to bring some food, some chips, some water. And he was like so zoned in. He's like, bro, yeah, dude, please. They bring the food. And then guess what? I'm sitting next to him then for another 6 hours gambling, just talking shits with him. But it's just something as simple as that. Like, it doesn't have to be ultra complicated. It could be the smallest and the simplest thing that somebody that's so big they don't realize. And that could just open your door to so many more things. And I generally come off as a genuine, like there's not anything that I could get from anybody right now in terms of value that would drastically change my life. Like, yes, do I have so much room for improvement? Yes, for sure, by far. But like, I'm not seeking for that aggressively right now. I'm just letting the people that get in my life somehow make it as organic as no more as possible and grow with it. Like, I'm not in that crazy race anymore. There's no need. Like, I don't want to be, 35 with so much money that I don't even know what to do with it. Like, I want to be able to constantly keep growing and keep challenging myself and keep winning as I go. So if like when you beat GTA, what do? You get bored.
You run around, kill the prostitutes, and steal the money back.
Yeah, like literally, like when you beat the game of GTA, you find new missions. You start getting 5 stars on purpose just to fucking do a challenge to see if you can get away. Yeah. Same thing. I don't want to beat the game yet, and I know I could. I just want to beat it as time goes.
You're a problem solver at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and it doesn't need to be like solving cancer, right? It can just be solving the food at the table. I think the fact that you are willing to put your hand up and say that is very unique, because then otherwise people come off as like sucking up to people, you know. And it's very common in the podcast space that like people are like, oh, they like really, really like suck up to someone, which is just a wrong relationship to build with someone, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that you got to suck up somebody to get like, I sucked up a couple of people to be able to learn some things, you know. There was some people out there that I was trying to provide value to them and they didn't care. They didn't want it. So I had to do it to be able to like get deep into the ear for them to realize. And as soon as they realize and the tables have turned, now they're sucking me off because then they want to get deeper into what I know so I can help them out. I think to a certain extent, you have to be the person under for a while to be able to get to that point.
But then it's reciprocity, right? You're helping someone out, they're helping you out. Psychology, right? It's how influence is built. Talk me through about the strategy behind your personal brand. Because something that I've observed is that the brand grew so quickly, but it's also sustained the growth, which is like very unique, especially in the YouTube space. You usually get booms and busts. It's very hard to maintain that kind of approach. So like, how tactical is that?
Yeah, everything is somewhat organic, but somewhat extremely strategic as well. When you build a personal brand and you build an audience, you don't build it off of viral ideas or viral, like you don't do something for views. The views come
like streak the Super Bowl.
I mean, like that's a crazy idea, but it was like the concept behind that.
Of course,
I did that to like launch a product, for example, right? Like that's the only reason why I did that. If not, I would have not done that. It was pointless, right? Like,
how much money did you make in that 24-hour period?
0. I didn't make anything.
You didn't make any sales?
No. Oh, sales?
Sales. So like when people saw, how much revenue did you make? I know you lost a shit ton, but how much revenue?
Oh, dude, I don't fucking know. It was like a year ago, right? I don't remember.
That'd be a good metric to track, bro.
Yeah,
You're tracking the wrong things.
The awareness was crazy. My awareness grew by like 120% 24 hours after. So if I was getting 1 million views, I got 2 million views 24 hours after. It was absolutely ridiculous. But like when you're building a personal brand, like you have to build it off of unique ideas and concepts that isn't a struggle for you to create. Like for me to create a video of me drifting, like I don't have to have a structure. I don't have to have anything. I just get in my car and go. And the audience that I build off of that, they'll watch me drift a Bugatti, they'll watch me drift a Porsche, or they'll watch me drift a Toyota Corolla. Like they just like me for who I am and how I do it. If I would have started creating videos an ungenuine way to who I am, you build an audience based off of that, but not based off of who you actually are. Perfect example that I can do of this is the hater videos. When people create a hater video of somebody else, right? So let's say right now I create a hater video about Mr. Beast. Yeah, it's gonna get 1 million views. But when I upload the next video of like myself, It's going to get 100 views. Nobody gives a shit because I'm not creating something that is unique to me. I'm just using something external. There's a clickbait video and people watch it, but people just watch it for that very reason. They're not watching it for you. So everything that I create revolves around something that I can do uniquely, that then people can just fall in love with who I am and how I do things. And anything I do, whether it's me cooking or me drifting or me trading, people are going to watch it because they just love the way how I do it. And that's the key to personal branding. The person to me that has done this the perfect out there, and it might be random, is Danny Duncan. You know Danny Duncan?
No.
But you search up Danny Duncan right now, all of his videos in under 24 hours get 2 million views. In under 24 hours, they get 2 million, and then it caps there. Like 2 million to 2.5 million. He can put the dumbest title. I went for a walk, 2 million views. I crashed this car, 2 million views. I am sad, 2 million views. Because he created a fan base and an audience around him. And people will watch him for anything that he does. So like that is you have to be that person that people want to watch. Now it's a slow grind at first because, you know, it's going to suck. You know, if you're not good on camera, if you're not entertaining, if you don't have a good story, nobody's going to watch you just to watch you. You have to be entertaining and you have to have a really, really good story to tell.
Who helped you with the storytelling?
My guys on my team. Yeah.
What was the concept that they started to piece together?
So every story starts with a time and a place. So when you start a story with a time and a place, people visualize themselves there right now. Let's say I'm gonna start a story with you right now. And it was like on August 20th at 9 a.m. on a rainy day in my home in my office in Miami, I walked in. So I just put you in the spot without even starting the story just yet. So you're already hooked and you're in the scene, for example. So there's just little details like that that just changed everything completely for me. Which is kind of interesting when you look at it in retrospect that it might not seem like such a big deal.
It's everything.
But it's fucking everything, bro.
People buy the story, not the product, right?
Exactly.
And that's why 1,000 songs in your pocket or fucking 52 gigabyte for the iPod, right?
Exactly.
But that's how you tell the story in your IG story, that's what I call stories, and your videos and everything. And how many evolutions did you go through? Because even storytelling for me is a big component of what I do. But it wasn't in the beginning until I got it beaten into me effectively. And that level of imagery is tough to create in someone's brain.
Yeah. So what was the question? Like
how many evolutions, like how many times did you kind of iterate on what your thing was, your story was, how you told things and promoted stuff?
So like the base of the story is always the same. What changes is the storyteller. So it's how I say the story. So let's say if you would have looked at me 2 years ago, I was like a bit shyer. I was just explaining the story, just explain it, but I would just go right into trading because it's what I was good at. People would just watch me for trading. Yep. Then I evolved to a bit better storyteller, not so shy on camera, but then always just go back to trading. So people would just watch a little bit of the story, but then just stay there because the trading, which is what they really want to see. Now it's at the point where I can just not even talk about trading and it just talk about me and how I can help you change yourself based off what I'm saying. And people would rather just see me and not even the trades. So it takes time for you to get comfortable with that and your audience to get comfortable with that. Yeah. And I don't know how to make that go faster because I haven't even like figured that out myself. I've just kind of been doing it. I say the storyteller changes every 6 months. Like I've changed my whole entire appearance. Like if you look at a picture of me from a year ago, dude, I look like some kid that just got his first $100,000. Like I was wearing Gucci, LV, I was doing all this stuff. I look back at myself now there, I'm like, what was I thinking? Who was I? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this guy? And I just say it's part of the journey. You know, I had to evolve as a person. I had to evolve as a trader, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator. And I think that the person that I'm going to be in the next 6 months won't even be anywhere near to where I am now.
Yeah, man. So what conversion do you think there is between you just telling broader stories about like Dunkin' Donuts and the Bugatti into your offers?
It depends what product you're going to be selling. So you have to sell a product that people really, 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 really want. Like you can't just make a product about you or what you think people want. It's like actually genuinely what people want. For example, right now I can sell, I don't know, let's say right into the trading space, right? I can sell, let's say signals. Nobody really wants signals, right? Because they've had a bad experience with it. Everybody's heard bad about it. It's just not that good. But then I can sell you a boot camp where you're one-on-one with me. You're going to be part of my routine every single day for 30 days. Like, you want to be part of that because you feel like you're going to become the person that you're with, that you admire, that you look up to. The offer is just a lot more attractive, and it's going to be a lot more impactful to the person. The person that is going to be consuming that product, they need to make sure that it's going to change your life. And me, as the person that's going to be giving out that product, I want to give out a product that is genuinely going to help somebody. I don't really do it to make money. Like, yeah, no shit. If I sell a $10,000 product, no shit. If I get a $10,000 wire, I made $10,000, of course. But I'm giving you $10,000 worth of value. It's not like I'm not going to give you anything that's not going to help you or change your life. So the product goes directly to the conversion, to the audience, to what the people want. And what I do first before I think of any product is, what does somebody want and what do they need to be successful? And based off of that, I create a product and then a pricing and then the marketing. But it's everything is revolved around the people first. And how am I going to help and change these people's lives that I have no idea who they are and they're looking at me through a screen? How am I going to do it? Then there you come up with the product, make sure that it works, and then you can go out and sell it.
How have you improved the coaching offer? Because coaching has gotten a lot more complicated now than it was before. Before it was courses, and now there's bells and whistles with everything.
Yeah, so I've simplified everything. I used to have 200 videos. And then one day I was looking through it, and one of the guys in there was like, bro, I'm by video 100, whatever. Can you make them shorter? And I was like, fuck, dude. I remember when I was on the come up, because, I made a lot of videos, but it took me like 3 months just to make the product because I'm literally just giving my heart out to it. But then I realized that, you know what? When I was growing up, when I was like on the come up watching videos, I didn't want to watch 200 fucking videos. Like, that shit sucks. Like, it feels like it's never ending. It makes the journey even worse. And I thought that the more videos that I would give out, the more value people would get, the better. But then that completely changed for me when that person said that. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're right. I'm going to make these videos more direct, straight to the point, and less content so you guys can consume it 100% and then finish off with the weekly calls that I do. So that completely changed for me. I think I only have like 50 videos right now. But each video, every second, every minute has value. Like, if you put your laptop down, you go get water and you come back 5 minutes later, you just missed the whole entire subject that could have changed your trading completely.
Have you been watching these episodes and really wanting to grow your own podcast? Do you not know where to begin and you feel stressed, overwhelmed, and under pressure? Are you tired of wasting time, money, and energy to actually create the perfect episode? That's where Forex comes in. Forex is a done-for-you agency where we produce and edit your podcast. We grow the show on autopilot, and we also monetize the show through your products and services. We've helped over 50 podcasts to grow and monetize their show. We've also given them back hundreds, if not thousands of hours to be able to focus on the right things in their business. We have some of the biggest podcasts in the world in our network, and we're sponsoring and growing shows every single week. We've generated over 100 million views, over 10 million downloads, and on top of that, we've generated over 2 million client revenue. So if you're interested in learning more about how Forex can grow and manage your podcast, schedule a call with me directly below via the link, and we can chat about how to grow and monetize your show right now.
Interesting, because that's the whole concept around write what you need to write versus writing to the essay word that you're taught in school, right? It's just like, say what you need to say, get in, get out, and move on. We've done something very similar, and our coaching offer is just like simplify everything down, less than 5 and 7 minute videos per one, and just keep it going. So do you have like, what's your setup? Do you have many sales reps, or do you just have straight into the product? Like, how
everything is just on, whoever wants to get in, it's their link in bio. If you don't want to get in, you don't have to join.
There's a lot to be said for how simple that is. Do you get me? There's a lot, the volume that you're doing, the people that you're helping, like, there's an element of complexity that just can completely be reversed half the time.
I mean, I don't think anybody would be able to do it how I do it because they're just going to look at the money. Somebody with my audience, my views, they would come out with a low ticker product, a medium product, a high ticker product, a subscription. They're just going to figure out how to sell to these people all the time. Bro, not me. Like, I have one thing, my product. I'm going to teach you how to trade. You're going to on a call with me once a week, every week for the rest of your life. One-time payment. That's it.
How much is it?
$1,500. You get on a call with me once a week for $1,500
for lifetime access.
For lifetime access.
That's so cheap.
I know it doesn't get any fucking better than that. So like I am building something that people want. Again, it's like the product is what people want. They want to be with me every single week. And then you figure out the marketing around it. But like I'm only selling you that. Like I don't want to sell you anything else. Like I might do like 1 or 2 launches a year, which is a 30-day boot camp that I do. And that is it. Like I don't want to sell you an indicator and then sell you an ebook and then sell you this and then that. No. Like I don't want to turn my, like Alex G is not a Walmart. I don't sell you a bunch of different things. It's not happening. I am exclusive. I am like Birkin. I'm just one bag, one product. That is it.
What's your take on the $37 a month model?
I think there's profitable business models around that. And yeah, cash flow is cool. It is good. There's actually a very interesting product that we're going to build for Fan Funded, which is a subscription-based product, which is actually going to be super sick. And it'll actually be profitable. But I don't think anything against it. I just think the lower ticket product you sell, the lower ticket client you're going to have.
100%.
Somebody that buys, for example, I just paid for a mentorship right now. It cost me $18,000. I bought it like 2 weeks ago. I haven't even hit up the person to get access to the videos.
Dude, I was the same. I did a mastermind in Bali and it was, I don't know how much it was. And there was no message. As in we didn't get any message or anything. It was because it was like a set date. And then like a day before a WhatsApp group came up and it was like dinner here. It was genuinely that I got there and the guy sitting next, when the guy that had it introduced me to someone, he was like, oh, this is so-and-so. He's literally making like $700K a month. I swear to God, this is the first time. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Because you have this feeling at first, you're like, should I do this? You know? And it was just funny because like the levels to the game is that it's inverse. Yeah. You know, I saw a tweet before. It's from JK Molina. And it was like 0K a month. And it's your email is like darren@companyname.com. And then it's like 100K a month. It's like perfect. And then like $1 million a month. It's like emailboy69@gmail.com. It just goes inverse, you know? Yeah. What you think you need to know is just inverse.
Yeah, like the person that pays $37 a month, if they don't, like as soon as they buy, half a millisecond after they buy, if they don't get access immediately right away, scam. And dude, you know, that's why I also don't like the low ticket products. I mean, bro, if I were to have a subscription based product right now, I'd be printing money. But I just don't want to, man. I sold signals for like 6 months, like 2 years ago, and I never did it ever again.
Well, there's a million ways to make money, but only a handful of ways to go broke at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, that's facts.
It's all the same at the end of the day. Tell me about how this complements the ecosystem, because my observation is that when I see this cigar brand, that also feeds into sports betting because guys are sitting around the table, like we are now, smoking cigars as a result. How did you kind of tactically build the ecosystem of products?
So it's kind of interesting because I was in the, are you asking me specifically about the cigar brand or just around all of them?
I kind of all of them because like split focus is no focus, but you're someone who's broken that law. And now you're able, you've bound the law together with your own law.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's, you know, not that you mentioned it, you know, I could see, I never really thought about it like that, right?
Yeah, I just said, give me 20%.
Yeah, because, you know, you could be smoking a cigar while you're sports betting and you could be trading at the same time. You know, it's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't really think about it like that. I thought it more of like the Shaquille O'Neal or Jake Paul. I look up a lot to Jake Paul. And this guy goes from being a boxer to then he goes from being a YouTuber to then being a boxer to now selling a sports betting app and then now a shampoo.
What?
Yeah, he has the W, the
No
product.
way.
It's like, dude, how the fuck do you do all that? Like, how do you just go from YouTuber to boxing to then full-time sports betting and now you're in a deodorant shampoo product? So the way he marketed or the way he says his story is he got into things that he generally liked because they're passion projects. You're not going to make money at the beginning, but you do it with passion. You do it because you like it. Your creative marketing ideas come out of it. You generally want to put time behind it. So I did the same exact thing. I generally like putting money behind the cigars because I like smoking cigars. The sports betting was actually quite interesting because it was more like a genius idea. To be truthfully transparent, I know nothing about sports, like zero. Like I don't even know if there's a game going on right now. There probably is, but what I do know is how to run risk. And we've been running the prop firm model for trading profitably for like 3 years. And my whole idea was like, okay, I like this model. Let me take it to a different niche. So I wanted to take it into poker playing because I'm a really, really good poker player. And this is probably a crazy idea out there for somebody. If you guys execute it, please DM me and, give me some give me
20%.
Yeah, give me
10%, 10%.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But I wanted to create a prop firm model around poker playing. So you come in and you buy a challenge. And if you beat our house, which would be our computer system, we will then fund you. So you play against other gamblers there in the poker table. And at the end, you win everything. It's like an indirect way of having a, what's it called? A tournament. We have to buy into the tournament, but you can't go into the tournament right away. You have to pass the challenge first. So that became a whole issue with legality, casino laws and all this shit. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Done with it. I started it, didn't work out. But I knew the concept was a winning idea. I knew it was a winning concept. So I then one day saw the sports betting stuff that started taking off. And I'm like, dude, what if you just build the same offer on sports betting? And I'm like, is this even a big thing? Is sports betting big? Like, is it? I don't know. I don't watch sports. I have no idea. I go on Google and I search up keywords of trading. How many keyword searches does trading get a month on Google and YouTube? 7 million, 5 to 7 million. Like, holy shit. Yeah, it's kind of
a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah. And I search up sports betting. How many keywords sports is betting got? 50 million. I'm like, oh, this is a ginormous market. People sports bet more than trade. I thought trading was the biggest out of the whole industry. Little did I know that I was pretty much sitting on a $1 billion idea. So I met up with one of the developers from the trading prop world, and I met up with him, and he's just telling me about trading stuff or whatever. And I'm like, look, bro, I'm telling you right now, I have the most genius idea on the face of the earth. Like, I have it. I need you to execute it, but I can't tell you. He's like, oh no, I have one. We went back and we had the same fucking idea.
No way.
Yeah, so we just said it at the same time and we became partners.
And he was an engineer.
Yeah, and he built the tech.
So this is self-funded?
100% self-funded.
Dude,
Yeah.
because software is all about TAM.
Yeah,
Total
bro.
addressable market.
Dude,
That's the only thing that the VCs look for. It's just
Yeah.
TAM.
Oh yeah, no, we're profitable and it's self-funded. We own 100%. Nobody else is in
Oh
it.
man, because the way that it framed, I thought that there was like someone who came to you with the idea,
No.
with the engineers.
Mm-mm.
I built software when I was a kid, and like it was. There's a reason why I don't do it. So
Okay,
that
I was
way,
gonna say that
it's
sounds
as
terrible.
you said, the 3-hour Zoom calls. Well, that's why I was laughing because I'm like, I'm fucking way too familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Oh no, they're never ending.
It
Like-
doesn't end.
They're probably on Zoom calls right now, just doing whatever. I don't know.
Dude, I remember looking at buttons and people going back and forth saying, should it be blue or slightly less blue for around 2 hours straight?
Yeah.
Dude, that's literally what software is, you know? And no one realizes that.
But I feel like that whole world itself is changing. I just saw a reel that just popped up literally before you guys came here, that this guy spoke into an AI and said, create me a website that has a timer and at the bottom it has a box, whatever. And dude, the computer just started coding it. Obviously, it's a shitty code and, with 1,000 users on it, it'll break and, it'll have bugs. But the fact that AI has gotten to that point right now where it could code its own website is mind-blowing to me. And I think that will be the future with coding and stuff like that very soon.
So that's a good point to touch on, like AI for trading.
No, I think AI for trading, bots for trading is the biggest scam on the face of the earth.
What about in 5 years' time?
I don't think AI will ever outdo a human trader. AI will never know the outcome of a potential fundamentals. They can have a great indication and they can, have a great idea, but they need a coder behind it to update and code the code for it to know. Without the coder, the AI is nobody. It's literally dead.
So it's a psychology.
Yeah, it's a psychology and data. The AI could learn by itself, but it constantly needs updates. So I think that AI could be profitable, but it will always need a human to keep it profitable. I don't think I've tested over 10 different AIs. Automatic trading, bots, whatever. None of that shit has ever worked for me ever. They all end up blowing one point or another.
And there's so much risk involved too, right? Because if you're putting all of your cash in this automated system, and if it goes down, whoever owns that system, they're at risk of that.
Yeah, dude, like the fact that the bot can just take 1,000 trades in 2 seconds is just ridiculous to me. Like, no,
Mm.
I want to be able to take my own trade, you know? Like these are like martingale bots and high frequency that they just take 1,000 buys, 1,000 sells, and they just have like 1% over. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know. I hate the whole idea of it. I've tried it. I've blown thousands of dollars on it. I hate it.
Okay. Good point. So going back to the personal brand side, because that's very actionable for people. So if you were going to go from zero, how would you build your brand today? So you lose everything.
Literally, it's like what Mr. Beast says, right? Mr. Beast said that now he can build a channel up to $1 million. He could build a channel from 0 subscribers to 1 million in 30 days. And I think I can do the same thing. Obviously not to 1 million, but to 100,000 like this. You have to understand who is your niche. Who are you going to target? You're going to target traders. You're going to target sports bettors. You're going to target influencers. You're going to target SMMA, e-commerce. What are you going to target? Cool. So now you only make content that in that niche people want to hear and need to hear. You have to put things that people need to hear, like how to read X type of candlestick formation. Like people need to hear this in order for them to be profitable, for example. And then you have to show up every single day. You have to upload 8 to 10 stories every single day, 3 of them entertaining, 3 of them value, and 3 of them just yourself. You have to upload 1 video a week on YouTube, and no selling anything, no call to actions, nothing. You're just providing value. You can't go into the space selling something until you're not anybody. You can only sell something when you're somebody. And you have to give people a reason to follow you. Like, who are you? The other day, my cousin, he was like, yo, because he bought a new car. It's like, can you repost me so I can get followers? Like, no. Not because I don't want to, but why would anybody follow you?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're right. That's how people need. People just need to be checked the majority of the times. You got to give people a reason to follow you. So what's your story? Do you come from a good background or bad? You come from good or bad background? And why should I trust in you? Like, how are you not one of these other 10,000 people that are out here on the internet? So you have to have a very clear, straight story. You have to have a reason why you're doing this. So if you're so profitable trading, why are you making videos on the internet? And how you're going to help people and change their lives.
What do you think about the fake guru space? Like,
I think it's crazy. I think it's, you know what? And thanks to that space, thanks to the fake guru trading space, I've become so big because the shit that I do, and it sounds crazy, right?
What?
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna explain it. The whole fake guru space and all these scammers and all these wannabes have made me the biggest that I've ever been because I differentiate myself so much from them that people can tell the difference. Like, you can literally look at me and look at somebody else and be like, yep, I know who's who. It's very clear. This guy's doing this, and this guy's clearly not doing this. It's just so easy for people to rather follow me than somebody else. It's just so easy. You just literally have to do the opposite that these people are doing. If they're, flexing and not showing history and not creating unique challenges, not giving back to the community, not doing meet and greets, dude, you just do all that and that's it. Like, nobody out there has done the meet and greets how I've done it. I've gone all around the world, Africa, London, Europe, Miami, LA, New York, Puerto Rico. And I just say, yo, I'm here. Drop my pin. I'll be there in 72 hours. Just pull up and say hi. It's free. I pay $20K for an event. Just pull up and say hi.
Yeah, dude. And like, that's why you're very unique, because even when we were chatting, I was like, if you want to send your address, you're like, oh, here it is. Here, just rock up. You're like, just come over. I was like, okay. It's natural. It's organic, right?
I got nothing to hide. I sleep with both my eyes closed, bro. And I'm not scared.
Okay, so this is a very interesting topic. So like the optics online and the way it's framed, it's all about the subconscious intangibles. And there's kind of a thing that like the bigger you get, the less you interact with people, the more you play a character, you know, you're James Bond or a superhero or a supervillain or whatever. And then they have the optics basically of it. And I've heard that a lot of those big brands actually have relatively small businesses. They're still doing really well, but they're not doing hundreds of millions a year that they portray that they're doing. What do you think about that?
Give me a little bit more detail, like I say.
So, like some of the real big guys in our space. Yeah. like they're like untouchables. So you can't touch them, you can't message them. You know, they kind of hide themselves off. It's if like it's like a one-way
Okay.
conversation, you know, and that
Yeah.
they're running a movie
Yeah.
and now you're watching the movie. Whereas for you, you're quite literally in the crowd.
Yeah. No, the richer I get and the more famous I get, the more humble I get. The richer I get and the more famous I get. How do I explain this? It's like the richer I get and the more famous I get, the more guilty I feel. Because it's so easy that not everybody is applying it. And I feel guilty because I feel like I cracked the code and everybody looks up to me and they're just trying to figure out how to do it for themselves. And all I'm trying to do is trying to get them how to figure it out for themselves too. Like, I don't want to be the only one having, like, if I'm the only one with Lambos, it's just fucking boring. Like, who am I going to race? Like, that's just whack. Like, I want everybody in my team to grow. I want everybody in my team to be on the same level. And like, I believe in building a community. Like, people, like, I don't see followers as like a follower. Like, I see it as like a genuine other human being. And like, getting yourself off the stage and just walking up to people and just shaking their hand, not only does it show who you really are, but it literally just makes you even bigger because it shows people that it's not all about me. Like, let's say I do a meet and greet. Like, the reason why we're doing the meet and greet, yeah, it's because I set it up and I put everybody here. But it's a meet and greet because of you guys. I'm here to meet and greet you guys, and you guys get to meet other people.
You're an enabler.
Exactly, correct. So like, I'm making everything like we're all one. Like, don't idolize me. Like, yeah, use me as a reference and as an example. But dude, I'm just another human being as well.
That's the benefit of you created a movement and the movement becomes self-actualized. It's personified, sorry. So it's personified, it has its own identity, and then people getting into trading, having these characteristic traits, that just runs on its own, you know? And if you think about it, if you go really back through history, the best leaders were the leaders that eat amongst the people, right? You have people from like Muhammad Ali down to politicians, that the ones that were really in the depths of people, they were the ones that we're still talking about today, right? Versus someone that's sitting behind fiberglass.
Yeah.
And they have themselves hidden from the world. It's like, of course I can't relate with you. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck could I relate with you?
No, I am the most relatable, successful person you can probably ever meet. Like, I can literally hop out of a Bugatti and eat out a taco truck. I can hop out of a Bugatti and go drive my Beetle, or just do anything that somebody normal would do. And I genuinely like it. I like that I'm able to have that diversity, and it's something that actually worked in my favor, because doing what I like and how I want to be connects with people more, and it's created me more of an audience. So it just goes back to what I mentioned earlier on creating a personal brand. Like, create a personal brand on who you really are and what you like to do. And that shit will just create you more of a solid foundation and a fan base that you could just take with you forever.
And your weird quirks are what people like, right?
Yeah.
If you were just a vanilla dude who's like, I'm a trader and I just work at Goldman Sachs, like, fuck that, right?
Nobody wants to watch that shit. That's just boring.
You know? And I've seen those guys, you know, that try to just be like, these are my trading strategies. And that's why they don't have a unique edge. Whereas, like, if you like weird old Beetle cars, like, yeah, like, have that about you. That weirdness is what attracts the right people.
Correct.
About the community, I think there's a misconception about building communities that you need to have a huge audience. So like, Elise has a brand, and that brand is really big and they have a huge community. You have a huge community. I have a smaller community, but we're going to do a dinner in New York soon, and there'll be like 7 people there. And it's going to be awesome.
Sick.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be very hands-on. We'll actually be teaching people as well. We're going to have fun. And I think that's a misconception people have, is that you need to have a lot of people, but a community can be 3 people.
Those 7 people that you'll have there are going to be more loyal and know you better than the people that go to a Drake concert. Like, those 7 people that go to that dinner and pull up will do more stuff for you and follow you more up close than the fans that follow Drake. Because those people idolize you. They want to learn from you. They just like you for who you are. Like, I like Drake just for his music, but I don't really give a shit what he does in his morning. I don't fucking give a shit. But if I idolize somebody and I want to learn from them and I want to follow their steps, I want to know everything about them. And I stick with that person forever.
Such a good point, man. That's so valuable. What's your relationship like with your parents now?
It's good. It's not where it was before. Now it's more of like, my parents just let me do my thing. Like, they obviously believe in me now. Before they didn't. And they don't get what I do. They don't fully understand it. The other day, my dad was here and he wanted to send a message through an email. It was like a really long message. He's like, "Oh, can you just type it up for me?" I'm like, "No, dude, you just click the microphone thing on the phone and you just say it to the phone and it writes it for you." His mind went crazy. And it's something, such a simple gadget that, you know, a normal human that knows technology has been using for years. Like, it's not anything new. So their level of awareness and consciousness of what trading is and how to make money of it is at the bottom of the barrel. Like, it's so below what anybody can imagine that they just simply don't understand. They just don't believe that it's possible. So that caused some friction at the beginning, and it obviously sucked. But that's what put the fire in me to be able to actually learn it and, you know, show them that it's possible. Now our relationship is good. Obviously, you know, you can't deny a lot of things. Like, you can't deny, you know, the lifestyle for years and years going on. Like, at the beginning, they thought it was just going to be a quick run, like a 2-month, 3-month, 4-month thing. But I've been on this for years now already, and I'm set for 15. I cannot move a finger right now for the next 15 years, and I'll keep the same lifestyle for 15 years. Like, I've set myself up. I have the foundations. Like, I'm chilling, you know? Like, I've worked my fucking ass off. So when I explain that to them and they understand it now, it's obviously gotten better. Because, you know, when you have kids, I understand them. I didn't get them before, but now I get it. Like, you want your kids to just be safe. You want them to be stable. You don't want them to take risk. You don't want them to not, like, you don't want them to fuck up. Yeah. So I get it. They wanted something stable and stability, but that's just not what was meant for me.
Do they ever fear about your spending?
Yeah, dude. They think I'm spending too much money, bro. And I'm like, you're right. I am. Like, it is a lot of, like, money, right? Like, spending $200K a month is a lot of money. But when you look at it on percentage wise, on what I made that month, it's really not a lot of money. Like, let's say right now you made $1,000 this month, for example, right? And you spend 2% of that. Is that a big deal?
How much even is that?
No, it'll be $20.
Yeah.
No, it's not a big deal. Same exact thing. Just at a larger scale. It's a lot of money, dollar-wise, but percentage-wise, it's really not.
Why do you think people go broke as a result?
I think people look at it. So I actually know some people that have lost everything. And it's kind of funny because I see the pattern in other people. And they think of tomorrow, maybe next week, but never next month or next year. So people try and figure out how to make money tomorrow, next week, maybe tomorrow, but never next year. And when you're thinking about making money tomorrow and next week, you're not thinking about how can you keep it so it keeps coming back next week and tomorrow and all that stuff. You just figure out how to make it, spend it, and make it again, which you're basically just adding a step forward, but removing the back one. And, you know, you're just literally moving on the same block. You're on the treadmill. And I think people lose everything because they don't plan for long term and they don't have money management rules. So I have a strict money management rule that I apply every single month. And I've been applying for the last 4 years of my profitable trading, my successful business, everything. And it's a 30-30-30-10 rule. So out of 100% of my income, 30% I mandatory save. No matter what, throw it in the piggy bank. 30% I mandatory spend on residual expenses. House, cars, light bill, chef, employees, insurance, groceries, anything that's residual expenses gets thrown in there. 30% I have to mandatory invest. If I don't invest the money, how the fuck am I scaling? How the fuck am I growing? So I might not invest it that very month, but it goes into an investment pool that is just liquidity there waiting for an opportunity. And I don't just not do anything about the opportunity. Like, I'll go out there and actively look for opportunities. Like, dude, I own fucking like trucks. Like, I own watches that I've never even seen, but it's a good opportunity and I just buy it. Now, do I lose money on it? The majority of the time, yeah. But I'm doing something about it. Like, I'm actively investing the money. Because if you don't invest, you don't grow. And then 10% of the money, I just spend on bullshit, like for myself, for anything that doesn't even matter. So 30% I save, 30% residual expenses, 30% you invest, and then 10% you spend on yourself.
But 60% effectively, right? Because you're saving what you're investing plus adding more.
Correct. Well, when you
might never
invest,
graduate.
it's risk.
Yeah.
Like I do like loans and stuff, and I've had people default and I lose. So I've learned as time has gone. I've invested into cars and I lose. But I make money at the end of the timeline that I've done it. I think I am net positive on it.
Yeah, especially when it's an investment into the brand, which is a non-tangible that you roll up effectively. So one thing that I'm definitely struggling with is like, what do you do with the cash? Like you said, you keep it in savings. Like, are you keeping it in cash? I was like, what are you going to do here with cash?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you just keep it in the bank.
Yeah.
Just wait. For me, cash is like an ammunition. It's like a bullet. Just waiting for something to shoot at it with.
Sick. That's sick.
It's just there, just waiting, ready to. I'm not scared to shoot. I'll shoot at anything.
So you're not like, I know you said before you're not putting into like real estate, but you're not putting it into low yielding fucking bonds, something boring.
Bro, I'll never forget. This happened like 2 months ago. My banker came up to me, George or Jeff, whatever. I don't know.
Sums up banking.
Yeah, I don't know. One of these guys came up to me. He was like, "Look, dude, you have a good amount of cash in your bank account that hasn't moved in a very long time. You should put it in our CDI, IDC, whatever. It's something that Chase offers, right? I think it's a CDI, and it's a minimum period of 3 months, but we'll pay you 4.75 on whatever money you put in there, guaranteed. There's no fluctuation. 4.75% on whatever money you put in. Minimum lockup period is 3 months." And I'm like, "All right, Jeff, listen here.
Fucking Jeff.
Listen here, buddy. I'm going to give you, for example, let's say $100,000. You're going to lock it up for 3 months and you're going to pay me 4.7%. After the 3 months are up, I lose 2% on fees on your bullshit because you got to make your money. And then I got to pay capital gains tax on the other shit. Dude, I did nothing. I lost money having the money locked up with you rather than me just knowing that I have it ready to shoot it at something. Told Jeff to go fuck himself."
Fuck you, Jeff.
Yeah, fuck you, Jeff. Nah, bro, all these basic banking investment stuff, dude, I'd rather get that $100,000 and go to the casino and put it on fucking black or put it on green. I'd rather put it on green than giving it to Jeff. Fuck that. Doesn't make any sense to me.
It's so true. Like what was he calls like the S&P me, right? You know what I mean? Instead of S&P 500, like if you invest in yourself with that money, it's going to just multiply tenfold. But again, it's not the immediate return you're looking for.
It sucks because, again, there's no way of tracking it if it's working or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it will if you believe in yourself and if you do it long enough.
Of course. But also you need the skills. Like you built the skills to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's not just like a random person getting money off their inheritance or from a trust fund. Does that make sense?
Of course.
It's a very clear delineation.
Of course. But, you might invest in yourself and you might be investing yourself in the wrong way. Like I did that for a long period of time. Like I was investing into, let's say, clothes, for example. I thought clothing made me look cooler and that would bring me more of an audience. And I thought that was making me better. Little did I know that did fucking nothing. Spending $5,000 on an LV shirt doesn't have the same effect as me going to a homeless and giving them $5,000. What do you think is going to make people relate to you more or care about you more? You showing a receipt of you flashing LV or you showing a video of you handing $5,000 to somebody? So both are investing in yourself. Just one of them is doing right and one of them is doing wrong. Now, some people are going to feel better about putting on an LV shirt. I feel better. I feel much better about giving this random person $5,000. And they're both investing. And some people just don't realize which one is right and which is wrong. And they just don't want to accept it.
So true, man. When I ask you about watches, I love the watch.
Yeah. I literally just got this too. This Richard Mille.
Dude, it's fucking sick. I gotta tell you a funny story.
You want to see it? Look here.
Sure.
I'll throw it, bro.
You want to hear it? Don't throw it. Jesus Christ, I don't be responsible.
There you go.
Crikey. You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So basically, I was in this man.
You can throw it.
I'm not throwing it.
Throw it.
So I went into the Rolex store in Bangkok. Okay. So Thailand different than Indonesia. And I saw Daytona there. And I was like, fuck, that's sick. Yeah. And I was like, I looked at it, started flirting with it. And I spoke to the woman that was working there. And I was like, oh, whatever, just inquiring. And then she said, you can try it on. I was like, all right. And it was like the high end version of it, right in the center, like all the lights hitting it perfectly. And I sat down and I was like, okay, I tried it on. And then I started the sales process. And I was like, right, what's the process? And she was like, well, everything here is sold out. You can't get anything here right now. And she was like, it's also going to take you 4 years before you get this. And also, you have to be based in Bangkok with a local address and have property here to be able to do it. And she just kept sending me down the funnel. And then effectively, it was just like, there was no possible conceivable way that I could get it from the dealer. So I'm interested to know how you went about that process, because she wanted to redirect me to Jakarta, which is in Indonesia, and start that process again and go down a 3-4 year plot.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I think that, I mean, yeah, maybe it has their marketing tactics and it works or whatever. I've never bought in a watch from a boutique. I get all of my watches from Neo Timepiece Trading. Like, bro, shout out to Neo, this guy. You could just call this guy whenever, and he'll literally show you the computer and be like, look, bro, I bought the watch for $100,000. I have to pay my employees X amount. I had to pay shipping X amount. Cost me $3,000 to get the watch, so I'm in 103. I'll sell it to you for 105. I'm running a business here. Let me make some money. Dude, I'd rather pay him. Like when he does that with me, it makes me want to pay him 110. Because it's like, bro, like I know this guy's not fucking me. He's being genuine. And he's like, look, this is a good watch. When you come back in 6 months, you'll probably lose 10%, 20% on the watch. Like he's being genuine. He's being honest about it. Like he's telling you what's a good investment, what's not. Bro, Neo is by far the best where I've gotten it. And I just do it based off of what watch I like. Sometimes I don't even buy the best investment watches, and he'll tell me, he'll be like, dude, you buy this, you're gonna get wrecked. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna look cool wearing it, right? So and I'm gonna feel good about it, and that's why I've had over like 10 different Richard Milles, and it's a good feeling to just wear whatever you want.
So I was wearing an Apple Watch. Get my.
Well, you know what?
Oh, actually, I have a photo of my dog on my watch.
Oh, sick.
But tell me about that process. So if he buys it from the dealer, it's just an interesting area because like obviously watches are like trendy, right? In terms of like buying it. So if he buys it from the dealer, does that devalue the value because they don't want you to sell it on a secondary market?
So there's like a boutique value, which is retail, and then there's just street value, which is whatever the supply and demand from the street values.
It's like drugs.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's like there's a thing. There's. I mean, I don't know if there's a manufacturer for drugs. There's like
there is. There always is.
But then there's like the street prices.
Yeah.
So it's just supply and demand. Like Neil tells me, he's like, bro, like for example, this Richard, I bought it. He's like, bro, if more people want to buy that watch and they're asking for more often, it just goes up. If nobody wants to buy it, it just goes down. So I like buying sometimes watches that people want, like for example, basic Daytona, presidential, the gold one, the green. I forgot what the green one is.
I don't like that one.
I hate it.
I don't like it. No. I don't. Is it silver?
The silver and green.
I don't like that.
I think it's the most basic watch ever. But people,
it's something your dad would wear.
Literally, it's like bro. I walk in, like Neil shows me, he has 30 of them there. Yeah. But he's like, bro, dude, like I get them and I sell them the next day. I make money. They're like, it's quick,
But they're cheaper, right?
Like they're like 15K, 16K. But they move. There's a big supply and demand on it. So like the price on those watches will never go down because there's just supply and demand. So the whole watch game is supply and demand. Same thing as crypto. Crypto goes up if people are interested. It goes down if people are not. Same thing with watches.
So are you out of kind of crypto right now, or just?
Bro, I have some USDT. I'm just parked. I'm just waiting, bro. I'm literally with my finger on the trigger. I'm just like, fucking come down a little bit more. I think Bitcoin's gonna go down to like 40, and then from 40, I think it'll just have the run that it'll just never stop.
It'll never stop.
I don't think it's gonna ever stop. I've heard some unique people say that it's gonna go to zero. I just think they're uneducated, and I just don't think that they understand how it actually works. I mean, we've seen the transition of hardcore cash, even way before that, coins to then turn into hardcore cash to then digital money. It's gonna very, very, very soon turn into fully digital currency money, in my opinion. It's so much faster. It's way better.
I think it's just good to be in it. Do you get me? Like to be continuously in it. Like as in, I literally do not look at the chart one time or another. But every single week, I've invested for 6 years.
Okay,
and I've never touched it.
Sick.
Never touched it. It's not like I'm putting in like 10,000 a week, but I've never touched it.
I would much rather put money into crypto, Bitcoin specifically, than real estate any day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for example, like this house right now. I'm rented in this house. Look, like you don't have to do that to Bitcoin. So I don't know. I was showering and the fucking water just started coming down through the lights. So they had to change the whole plumbing in the house.
Oh,
They had to
man.
refix the roof, refix the light fixture. And it's like the money that I'm paying this guy in rent, probably half of it right now just has to go to this repair. So he's technically not making money. And 2 months ago, the water heater broke. That was half the rent as well. And 2 months before to that, the AC broke. It's like, dude, like it's just never ending repairs. So you're really never making money. It's more of a headache and a maintenance that you have to deal with. I would much rather put money into crypto where you just enter, set and forget, and you'll have a much profitable risk to reward on it with way less maintenance on it.
It's like a digital business versus physical. Like I saw there was loads of like miniature riots or some shit in the UK, or there was big riots in the UK, and all the local stores smashed in, shoes taken, everything. You know,
Sad.
like this is the idiosyncratic risk that you just can't control, right? It's just a risk outside of just the variable risk of the universe.
Mhm.
That's
And,
gonna come and
and
ruin
it's
everything.
just so much more. I can send you 100,000 right now in crypto in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask anybody, call a support representative, put your ID, send, done, quick. So I think that'll be the future very soon because everything we are doing right now is for speed. Everything is for efficiency. Everything is digital. So that is literally exactly what crypto is.
Interesting, man. That's just a great way to kind of wrap up in terms of like the entire frame of like the skills you have are what's happening now.
Yeah.
The businesses you run are lean, they're operational, they're what people want.
Yeah.
They offer what they want. And even the way you expend the money that you make isn't things that people also want, right?
Mhm.
Versus something like real estate that leaves a hole in your fucking roof.
Yeah, that's just whack. In my opinion, that's just whack.
Man, it was a massive thank you. This was sick. This
course,
was so
bro.
much fun, man.
Yeah, bro, I'm looking to go to Bali or like Indonesia, all that very soon.
Yeah, man.
Need somebody to show me around there. I don't
Yeah, you
want
just need to get a massive villa in Paranan and be sick.
Oh yeah, I just need a fucking scooter. Ride around there in a
Yeah,
scooter.
good gyms, good people, good vibe.
And the food, you've seen the difference in the food.
Oh yeah,
Big difference in the food.
yeah.
Over there, shit's natural. Here, you feel like you're eating a piece of Cardone.
Yeah, for sure. Like even here, if you're going to good restaurants and stuff, it's I don't know, you
Mhm.
know. But there, like I have private chef, meal prep companies. Everything is really geared towards like. There's an argument people say that like Bali is much more like relaxed and like here you're not pushing on as much, but you still find the pockets of entrepreneurs who are killing it.
Mhm.
There's guys in there that are just in the shadows doing crazy stuff. A lot of guys who sold companies.
Yeah.
So they sold companies. I didn't say this, but there's this school there's like a private school for kids. I didn't hear it. Have you ever heard about the kids network of fathers?
No.
You'll find this interesting. I found this out recently. So guys who have children have big trust in other guys who have children. I didn't realize this. It was told to me. And the schools that they put their kids in are with other people who are entrepreneurs. So I was at this dinner with people and everyone was around 37, 38 and they were all in the same school their kids were. And all the guys were just fucking ballers. All of them. And they were telling me that basically a lot of the guys that would rock up would be billionaires. Like they're 50, 60. Their kids are like 17 or 16 or some shit, whatever. But they're all out of the game or they're doing something else, right? They're doing something else. So it's an interesting observation, right? And you don't hear of these guys. They just go under the surface.
That's interesting because it's like a interesting way to get a cool network.
Another guy said he has 7 businesses. They're all agencies, but they're in like healthcare, chiropractor. He's old. He said he's about 40, but
He's
all
old.
of these partners, because he couldn't do it himself. His partners is this SME, the subject matter expert. Every single one of them are people in his network that are all married and all have kids. Interesting frame.
Interesting.
It's a weird way to move, right?
Mhm.
It's just like when everyone's zigging, you kind of want to zag.